Hello everyone, and welcome back to All Access with the Profs. I'm Liz Brister, and now it's time for the Rowan Roundtable segment. Joining me today are Mike Galeta and Josh Hirsch. Mike Galeta was the sports producer for the football game versus Wesley the other day, and Josh is the technical producer for RTN. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing all right. I'm sorry that no football players could be here like promised, but you got to make do with it. You got to make do.
Yeah, you gotta make do. But anyhow, can you guys tell me what goes into pre-production for a football game?
Mike, want to start with that?
Well, yeah, I guess with the early stages of it is once you know that there's a football game coming, and the first thing you want to do is obviously you want to prepare a sort of crew list, to get the members of the club to, sign up and whatnot. Figure out who your talent's going to be, what kind of talent are you going to be? Are you going to have the pregame show? Are you not going to have the pregame show? This past week, unfortunately, we couldn't due to time constraints with the craziness of homecoming week. But all those things kind of go into it, and it's just a lot of, picking and choosing your crews, making sure graphics and everything are ready so that when the time comes to set up, everything hopefully will go smoothly.
And Josh, anything you want to add?
Technically, going off what Mike said with the whole graphics thing, usually we try to load those into our TriCaster beforehand. TriCaster is our portable studio system that we use. So we want to make sure all the graphics are loaded in there. Project's all set up, all of our PSAs, graphics, everything's loaded. And then on game day, that's another story. Just pretty much just bringing all the equipment over there. We have to plan who's going to drive, that kind of thing, and then setting up. We have to run reels out to the cameras on field. We also have reels that are built into the press box that go up to our top camera, so those are a lot easier to work with. We also have to run Ethernet for streaming because we stream all the games online on our website. So it's a lot that goes into setting up each game.
Mm-hmm. And you said you have to set up a crew. What do you think is the hardest part of getting a crew signed up?
I mean, it really depends, what kind of do it, and picking out all the positions are who's gonna do what, who, based off the past experiences, who do I want to put where, and who do I think would be best where. It all depends where people want to sign up to. Certain people are gonna want to direct, certain people are gonna want to be camera, graphics, and whatnot. It just all really depends on who decides what they want to do, and from there you kind of just got to go into choosing it and just hope you have the right amount of people to get a crew done, because it does take a lot of manpower to do this. You do need a lot of people to set up something as big as a football shoot like that.
Mm-hmm. How many crew members do you need exactly for behind the scenes?
Behind the scenes for football, we do 3 cameras, so that's 3 camera ops. Each camera op usually has a grip, so that's 6. And then in the actual studio, we usually have a director, AD, graphics, someone who controls the clock for the scoreboard graphic, and then an audio person. So it ranges from about 10 to 14, can be anywhere between that. Also depends on how many people sign up, because sometimes we can combine those jobs or cut out a grip or 2 if we need to.
Mm-hmm. And where is this whole studio set up?
Studio we set up actually under the bleachers, just gravel under there, so we move all of our equipment under there, and then we just run our reels out under the bleachers to the field. So.
All right, and what do you think is the hardest part of setting up the whole shoot as a whole, just before you even get there?
Before we even get there?
Before you even get there.
Man, before we even get there, I don't even know what the hardest part about getting there is. I guess just all the amount of intensity, or the amount of nervousness I guess I kind of felt going into it, is everything gonna go right? Is everything technically gonna go right? It's more a lot of making sure all the pre-production stuff is done, how the shoot's gonna run, what to, expect could go wrong, making sure everyone's gonna be there. I would say just every emotion leading up to it, because just leading up to game day, it's kind of all you think about. And especially with a matchup that was as big as this, it was homecoming. We were facing 11th Wesley, or 11th ranked Wesley, my apologies. And it was just kind of nervous going into it, again, what can we expect?
Mm-hmm. And once you actually got there and got everything set up, how do you think the shoot actually went?
This was actually probably the most awesome game ever, for the simple fact that besides the sluggish first half that was within the game, right in the second half there was so much energy and motion. I even found myself jumping on the press box when McCarty threw that touchdown pass to Goris, and I found myself jumping at the end of the game after the interception threw by Joe Callahan for Wesley, and it was just crazy. It was definitely a great show. I definitely think it went well, and especially when you have a good football game to go along with it, it just makes your shoot so much better.
All right, what's some of the stuff that could go wrong with the shoot?
There's a lot that could go wrong, and a lot has gone wrong in the past. It could range anything from getting mics to work audio-wise, because we have to run out mics for sideline reporters. Announcers have their own mics, so we have to run a lot of audio lines into the board. Also, we have very long runs to the cameras on the field, and that signal sometimes cuts out or gets laggy. So we have to make sure we have good reels going out there, no one's stepping on the cables, that kind of thing. And then we do have some hardware that improves the signal, so if there is a weak signal, we can always add something to boost the signal. And then also the TriCaster, that's had some glitches in the past too with graphics and getting the internet to work. Most of the time it works fine, but there's always that one time that it's not working properly and they have to restart and that kind of thing.
Well, thanks guys so much for coming and talking to me tonight.
Thank you.
No problem, thank you.
Coming up, Chris and Maria will update you on the women's soccer team's hot streak as well as the week in volleyball. Stay tuned.